The president of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), Joe Ajaero, says masses are the losers of President Bola Tinubu's economic reforms. He stated this in Abuja on Thursday during the 21st Daily Trust Dialogue. The Labour leader, who was referring to the federal government's twin policies of the petrol subsidy removal and the currency floating, said it was not too early to measure the indices of failure as well as that of winning. Ajaero said the Nigerian masses were the losers because they were once buying petrol at 187 naira per litre, but now doing so at 700 naira per litre. He said it took former President Muhammad Buhari 8 years to move from 260 naira a dollar to 700 naira a dollar. Within 6 months, it moved from 700 naira a dollar to 1,350 naira a dollar under Tinubu. So who are the losers? According to him, the masses are suffering because there is no increase in salaries and wages. He described the government policies in the oil and gas and power sector as public disaster and private gain. He wondered why the government would still be giving more money, all in the name of subsidy, to private investors whom it sold the power sector to at what he termed ridiculous amount. All of these happenings are a situation of public disaster and private gain. We are living in a prodigal economy, and 99%, if not 100%, of privatized companies in Nigeria have failed. The country has been on an increasing debt journey. Who do you think will pay it? I know they will tell you that you have to suffer a bit so you can gain, but it has been the same story since forever, he said. Ajaero further stated, when policies come with the toga of reformation, it immediately adorns the garb of the pristine, creating the belief that it is geared towards generating better structures and platforms for social progress. For example, do people have greater access to food and nutrition, decent housing, quality health care, or in general, has the quality of life of the citizenry improved both in the short, medium, and in long term, or has it stagnated or worsened? Those are some of the indices that will define how we can classify such policies. These reforms were ostensibly designed to address perceived fiscal challenges and promote economic sustainability. However, the policies implemented have been met with mixed reactions, with both positive and negative consequences for different segments of the population. Important to state is the fact that the key policy of the hasty hike in the price of petrol does not fit into the procedure for carrying out a reform, especially when we expect such reforms to have a serious positive impact on the economy. We will therefore examine some of the identified actions that this government has taken to see whether there is a pattern or a coherence that points to specific directions as to the results that are intended, and whether these policies are capable of taking Nigerians to the stated destinations. Ajaero alleged that some of the present administration's policy were inconsistent, saying such policies has heightened pervasive threats of massive kidnappings, abductions, and banditry across the country. If we are therefore expecting a different result from what we have experienced now, we fall into the fabled trap of doing the same thing the same way over and over again to expect a different result. Now, the LLC has confessed that Tinubu's policies are anti-masses. They are not designed for Nigerians. Instead, they are designed for those in power, political allies, and other privileged individuals. The same masses that voted for them are the ones losing out. It is a cycle that has continued from government to government, democracy to democracy, which the people are promised that all policies of the government is going to benefit them. But it is a lie, according to NLC, that the government is bent on deceiving the Nigerian people. Looking at the removal of subsidy and the floating of the currency, the people are at the receiving end. Who are those that buy these products that are inflated because of the exchange rate? Who are those that are going to buy fuel for 700 naira? Who are those that their salaries will not be increased, but they are expected to bear the pains of the increase in goods and services and other products? Well, it is high time the NLC talk what Nigerians want to hear and act the way Nigerians want them to act, because Normally, if it were to be in a sinner society, there will be protests all over Nigeria, and NLC will be at the forefront of that protest. But how it has kept silent over the months baffles Nigerians. Although Nigerians don't really have any belief or faith in the NLC, the capability of the NLC to fight for the Nigerian people, they believe that they are an interest group that will fight for the interests of their own workers, labor workers. Not all Nigerians are fit into the labor force of the NLC. We have people that are having independent businesses, so they are not part of the NLC. The NLC went further to say that even with all these borrowings that the government is borrowing, who are those that are going to pay? It is still the people. The politicians will never lose. They are the ones that will steal the money, borrow the money, misappropriate the money, use the money for their personal gains and their personal interest. Yet, at the end of the day, when they want to pay back these loans to the World Bank or any other financial institutions, they will tax Nigerians, the same Nigerians that have been impoverished, the same Nigerians that have been deprived of health facilities, good roads, good water, loans, and every other basic amenities are the ones that will be taxed from their hard earned money. Remember, widen the tax net. So it is Nigerians that will be taxed for every failure of the government. It is good that the NLC has pointed out that Tinubu's policies, Tinubu economics, has failed. It is anti people, it is against democracy, which is originally going to benefit the people, but it is now the politicians, their allies, their friends in power. And how Nigerians are not standing up to these people in power, how they are confused and divided along ethnic and religious lines, is what baffled many people. How activists have suddenly kept silent and not do anything at all, how they have suddenly lost their voice in this Tinubu's administration, but they found their voice during the regime of Jonathan, probably because Jonathan was a weak president. Look at what is happening in the north: the killings, the kidnappings, the insecurity, food crisis in the north. Yet, the Northern Elders Forum, which consists of northern elites, people that are supposed to pave a way forward for the north and the development of that region, are totally blind and have lost their voice to the plight of their people. When you look at people that are suffering, especially in Nigeria, you go down north, you see that these guys are very, very in poverty. But what surprised me is that this Northern Elders Forum or Arewa Consultative Forum never saw these things, but they were complaining about how Tinubu moved CBN from Abuja to Lagos and FAAN to Lagos. That is their priority. Look at what Ndume was saying on national TV. Seems that these people are visionless, myopic, selfish. It's all about their selfish interest. If NLC like, let them not do the needful. If they like, they should not take up responsibilities and stand up for the Nigerian people. Dollar is getting to 1,500 probably by the end of January, and dollar affects everything. People, clothes you buy, the food you buy. I went to buy something one time. Somebody said that this thing I'm selling for you, if I convert it into dollar, it is nothing. So dollar determines the price of what you buy in the market. Now dollar is increasing and people are just as if nothing is happening. All is well. Nobody is raising a voice. Nobody is protesting. Everybody is just silent. Probably a spell has been cast on Nigerians. Yes, let NLC continue complaining and not do the needful. Although Nigerians have lost faith in the NLC, but they can do something. Not just saying Tinubu economics is anti-people and sleep at that. Start something, start a revolution, because you are legally backed by government to protest. You are even in a more positioned place to protest, especially at this point in time, more privileged. You have all the things that you need. Unlike ordinary Nigerians that will want to come out, mobilize this and that, you have institutions, you have groups that are going to join you and fight for Nigerians. Tinubu, so far, he has not shown that he has that capability to take Nigeria from where it is. It is so evident that it might be all about power and interests. And furthering his political ambition from 2027, make sure he completes his 8 years and find a way to deal with the Northerners. Probably that is what he is looking at. But for the people, the benefit of the people, they are going to continue in their lies and propaganda to keep us hoping and believing that tomorrow is going to be better. Look at the baby steps that Tinubu said that it is just baby steps of pain. Yet, lawmakers are smiling to the bank. Appropriations in billions of naira, they are not spending wisely, but they want Nigerians to tighten their seat belts. Is that not a scam? It is high time we open our eyes and understand that even though we complain from now to tomorrow and we don't take action, it is just we are going to remain in this for the next 8 years. Tinubu is going to be in that place for the next 8 years, manipulating every system at his own favor, bribing and making sure things work in his favor, even though he has to do it against the interest of the masses.